Working together to make Leon County safer. All in. All in. Woo!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the LCSO podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Hampton, and today we're talking about mentorship, leadership, and creating opportunities for the next generation. And so I'm excited to bring this episode to you all for the month of June. Joining me today is Royle King, the director of the Council of the Status of Men and Boys, a role that he's held since 2022. And just to give you a little bit of background about Royle, for those of you, I'm pretty sure for the Facebook community, many of you may already know him as a mentor. He leads a phenomenal program also called the Lamplighters, and he's a dedicated person to young people and ensuring that they succeed. So welcome, Royle.
Thank you, Giovanni. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the mission of the Council of the Status of Men and Boys and just challenges that you see men facing today. But before we get there, let's talk about you. Who are you? Where are you from? You know, where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I am originally from Dallas, Texas. I have a unique name myself, but I always, when I get an opportunity, share my parents were, I'd say in a lot of ways, prophetic and maybe comical, depending on which one you prefer. My older sister's name is Princess King. I have a twin sister who's a few minutes older than I am, named Majesty King. And then I'm Royle King II, named after my dad. And so I always, as a kid, didn't really embrace the power of my name because kids can be brutal, and it was always been a cool name, but people fear what they don't know or don't have. And so once I got into middle school and high school, it became really cool, and so I just kind of grew with that. But lived in in East Dallas, which kind of related to the job, was a community. Like the community, I've dedicated my life to serving high risk primarily. And so, much like anything else, when you're growing up somewhere, it's just you're normal. So you don't know what's not normal because that is your normal.
Right.
So I enjoyed that. What got me to Tallahassee, I came to Florida A&M University. I had a mentor, and kind of my story, I always share it. Is connected to this a lot. I participated in 2 mentoring programs. One was a male youth mentoring program. And the other was a journalism boot camp. Ran through the Dallas-Fort Worth Association of Black Communicators, which is the local chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists. And so at a young age, I had a really passion for sports and journalism, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I was introduced to the director of that program. They ran a 12-week boot camp for high school and college students, and it was competitive, and it just so happened to be at my high school. And so I got selected, and I participated all 4 years of high school in that program. And the individual who ran that, Cheryl Smith, who is my mentor, but as in our culture, when relationships go beyond that of friendship, you become family. So I refer to her as my Aunt Cheryl. She had that big of an impact in my life and the lives of so many others. And so I remember one day in one of our sessions, she was saying, if you want to be the best in journalism, you got to go to FAMU. And she had such a profound impact on me. And I knew I wanted to be a journalist, and I wanted to be the best in anything I did. And so I ran home and was like, I'm going to FAMU. I didn't even take the time to understand where Tallahassee was at that time. I'm 13. I knew my parents went to Prairie View A&M and were graduates there. A lot of my family went to Prairie View, so I had an understanding for HBCUs, but I didn't know a lot. And I just share that to say just the impact of a mentor. And so I wanted to be the best. I believed her to be the best because of the impact, influence she was having on my development, but also what she was doing professionally in her career. And so I was like, I'm going, and hadn't even figured it out. But I got here, right? And so just the power of mentoring and impact in that. And so from those programs gave me a lot of opportunity, but also of what I needed and wanted, but also a look into what I know I was missing. And so I'd said, by the time I got to 17 and was coming to Tallahassee, that I was like, man, I want to help somebody the way those programs helped me, but I want to peel that onion back just a little bit and give them some of the things that I wasn't just open to talk about, and that they weren't even asking about, that I just knew would have helped me be even better. Yeah. But, didn't seem like the space was open to have those deeper conversations. And so I want to create something that does that, but also give kids an opportunity to grow and it be what they need, not just what I needed, but it evolved into something that they need. And so years later, we created that program while I was in college, and today it's grown into a national organization. And so all of that in connection to the power of one person's influence on another person, how much fruit that one interaction over time can bear.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, from a journalism major to a journalism student at FAMU, a lot of times we think that journalism is being the newspaper writer or editor or broadcast journalist. And I've had to have a conversation with myself about, it's really the voice, that we have. And so a lot of times when we're thinking that we're going in one direction, it's just like, as long as the mission doesn't change and that you're still being impactful and that your voice is still being used, it's like, that is your purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so even with you going to school for journalism, you're still an impactful voice to the entire community. Right. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Thanks for sharing that. And so was there a point, so throughout college is when you developed the Lamplighters program, is that right? And then you just knew from there, like, this is something that I'm not letting go of.
Yeah. So I did have an opportunity to pursue what brought me here, which is journalism. And I really felt like I'm a man of faith. And so I graduated, and it's time to get what they call a real job. I was working a couple part-time jobs, none of them in my career at that time. And so I was applying for journalism jobs. Nothing was open in Tallahassee. Just the timing for me was terrible. No openings, right? And so I had put out some applications, and I had an opportunity to go to Washington State to take my first reporting job. And then there was conversation about an opportunity in Texas, but I had the Washington State offer. And in the midst of that, I'm like, man, this thing is finally, I'm out of school. I can really dedicate my time to growing it at like a bit of a crossroads. And so I just trusted the faith I've had. And it's one of the few times in my life where I know for a fact that God was talking to me. And, people talk about these experiences and you see like, oh, ain't that happened to me. It was like one of the few times I know for a fact, I just knew he was telling me to stay. And so I did. I didn't take the job. I continued to kind of do my part-time things and got an opportunity in TV, but it was as a director, which I wanted to be on TV. I came here to be the face, and I was like, well, I'll take it. And then this is, God talking to me, and I'll, work my way from behind the scenes onto the TV. And then just honestly, some of the realities of the business, just the grind of a reporter and the daily, it just was a lot. Once I finally was in that space, and my desire to want to do that kind of dwindled some, but also I was working outside of my day job and in my passion, what I thought, but really in my purpose and the evening with the program. And so I just kind of, the more I worked in TV, the more I was like, I don't know that I want to be on TV that much anymore. Just how it was. But at any rate, it allowed me to stay here, and I know for a fact today that what was happening with me in terms of trusting my faith in God was 100% fact, because my life has been blossomed in the lives of so many others because of that decision.
Yeah, so from Texas to Tallahassee, and you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still very influential and dedicated to the youth. What are you currently doing at the sheriff's office, and what is the Council of the Status of Men and Boys?
Yeah, so a lot here at the sheriff's office. So serving as the executive director for the Tallahassee County Council on the Status of Men and Boys. And to try to summarize some of what we do, we are the entity that was put in place to develop strategies, to implement strategies to reduce gun violence, in addition to serving as the unifier and convener of community-based organizations in our local community, to be a part of that model for gun violence reduction. So in addition to that, it's so many other things that are connected to gun violence. So primarily poverty, education, substance abuse, drugs, crime, just a lot of additional factors. And a study was convened right before I came on that kind of told us where we needed to be focused, and kind of directed my work and the team's work in terms of how we reduce gun violence for men and boys, because the data showed us that that was where we were seeing it at high alarming numbers, specifically black men and boys. And so our focus is more global than that, in terms of community, youth, and young adults, but also still trying to implement strategies and connections in high gun violence communities. And
then how effective has the council been amongst young men?
So I would say extremely effective in the sense that a lot of the young men and young adults that we've come into contact with don't have the most positive perception of law enforcement. And I think us as a team through CSMB, we serve as like that bridge. So we have sworn and civilian staff on our team, and our civilian staff have really strong brands in the community. And so a lot of times when we show up, they know that we work for the sheriff's office, but the value we bring is so much bigger than that they don't even, the police, they don't even have that thought, right? And so I think there's power in that. And so trying to assemble a team that's relatable for the population we're trying to serve, and having a younger navigator who's very relatable and understanding what teens are seeing, right? Because he's not a kid, but he's not that far removed, and he and himself, through his the job and through his passions in the community, interact with the population all the time. And then having an older navigator who's been a faith leader for many years and is older, but has seen it and gives it a different lens, has allowed us to really be extremely effective with the population and tag teaming who's a better fit based on those trauma experiences that some of those young men have, and how they will respond better. Do you respond better to a father or male figure, or do you male father or grandfather as figure, faith leader, or do you respond better to a big brother, uncle, into some of the things you're into person, which have allowed us, I think, to be extremely successful with the team we have. And,
as we come to a close, two things. Do you remember the conversations that you've had very early on back in 2022 when Sheriff Walt McNeil said, hey, this is an issue that we have in our community. We need to target these individuals, and it is on your shoulders, and also the Leon County Sheriff's Office. But, what was the thought process of, I have work to do, and there's still, some work to be done. But from what I've seen and what the community is saying, CSMB has been a wonderful impact in the community. But what were those conversations like, just knowing that you are furthering your mission all the way from college?
Yeah. So those conversations were, I would say, heavy. If your dreams and the work you're doing doesn't scare you, then they're probably not big enough. And so to take the role on was extremely big, and the expectations were really high, because it wasn't just the sheriff who was saying, Royle, we need you to do this. It was also the county administrator, the city manager, the superintendent of schools, the police chief, all making investments in this work and saying, we're committing resources to help this. Sheriff McNeil, we're trusting what you've created and presented to us. And so that's a lot of pressure. And so it was that space of being eager and some of that initial anxiety, but I liken it to like a lot of athletes and star athletes who I've watched and listened to their journeys. You're supposed to have some of that feeling, but once the game starts and the whistle blows and you make the first move, your training, the skills, all of the work that led to that moment kick in. And so that was kind of the experience. Not that there still wasn't moments where we were like, oh my, are we doing this right? And is this the right thing? And there were, of course, errors and opportunities where we learned from those experiences that, this isn't the way we should do it, right? But overall, we've continued, we've sustained, and I would say have had a major impact in saving some lives from being involved in gun violence, but also supporting a lot of families in neighborhoods where we see a lot of the gun violence. So the focus is men and boys, but I think our spear has touched communities, and communities look very different beyond just that, and connecting individuals and families to support resources and opportunities to make better choices. And so that's some of the things I'm really proud of. But it was heavy, but what the wise man once told me, heavy is the head. That indeed wears the crown. And so you cannot cry about the things you once asked for. And so when you follow your purpose and passion, doors are open, and you just got to continue to operate in that space and just be genuine. It's not going to ever be perfect. You're not going to always be right, but continue to work and learn from those things. And we grow as a community and a team each time.
Well, thank you so much, Royle, for your time. Before we wrap up, just got 30 seconds. I'm going to ask you just some quick questions. This is called the lightning speed round, all right? Okay. So you sound like you just said your favorite motivational quote, so I'll skip that one. Best piece of advice that you've ever received? Quick answers.
Okay. Best piece of advice I ever received: don't give up.
Okay. One word that describes today's young people?
Challenged.
One word that describes leadership?
Tired.
A person you'd love to have dinner with?
Barack Obama.
Favorite way to recharge outside of work?
Food.
Council on the status of men and boys, or lamp lighters?
Oh, council on status of men and boys.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the work being done through the Council on the Status of Men and Boys is helping create opportunities, build confidence, and strengthen communities one person at a time. And so to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the LCSO podcast. Until next time, we'll see you again. I'm Giovanni Hampton.
Working together to make Leon County safer. All in